Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video, I will be guiding you how to deploy your .NET applications on Unix environment with Nginx. But before we can start deploying to our applications, we actually need to spin up our instance first. In this tutorial, I will be guiding you how to set up your instance by using DigitalOcean. So, from what you can see right now, I'm actually inside the DigitalOcean website already. This is my dashboard. So from here, I actually will click on the droplet and go to create a new droplet and select which type of operating system I'm going to use. So in this case, I actually will using the Debian version 11 and also using the basic plan with the regular SSD, which cost me $5 per month. And also I will be choosing the country which nearby my place. And then I actually have to set up my SSH key right now. I have two SSH key. So in this tutorial, I still will guiding you how to create your own SSH key. So by pressing new SSH key, they actually provide you the instruction how to create your own SSH key. But I actually prefer to use the guideline from GitHub. So I will go to Google and I just key in GitHub SSH key gen and click on the first search result. I will go to this GitHub documentations, and I just need to copy this command and open my terminal. As for now, I just actually using the WSL, so I will just go into WSL and paste my command here. In this tutorial, I actually will be just using some dummy email address like abc@gmail.com to create this page. So I actually need to rename my SSH key right now. Let's call it like demo test. I'm not going to give this password at the moment since it's just a demo. Then after that, I actually need to copy this public key and paste it into the DigitalOcean and paste it here. Then let's give it a naming like WSL demo test, something like that, and add the SSH key. Then we can just moving forward and create the instance. This will take around like few minutes to set up our instance, and while we are waiting, we actually can open our DNS management. For my case, I actually using GoDaddy, and we can ready up this DNS record management first, because we will need to paste in our IP address into this DNS record. So we will be waiting for this thing to spin up. So once we have done to spin up our instance, we can copy this IP address and create an air record in the GoDaddy. And then we actually can create a record for this one and put in, maybe let's call it like test, and put our IP address at here. Then set it as a custom. We just put it 600 seconds and add our record. This will take few minutes or few hours just to reflect this thing. So we just leave here for now. Let's go back to our terminal. Okay, so we actually need to log into our WSL again. So for now, we actually need to access to our instance that we create earlier. So we actually need to copy this IP address at here. Then from here, we actually need to use the SSH-i, then followed by our private key that we create earlier, demo test, and then followed by the root at the IP address. This root will be different from what instance that you're using. For DigitalOcean, they're using root, but for other service provider, they might be using Ubuntu or whatever. So for my case, I will be using root and press enter. Yes. Then we will be accessed into our instance right now. So the first thing we need to do is actually we have to update our package by running the updates. Then we have to install our Nginx -y. Yep, so once we install, we actually have to start our Nginx service. Okay, so how we going to verify whether it's working or not? We have to just copy the IP address again, then paste it into our browser. So yeah, it's actually working. So the next step that we're trying to do is that we actually need to install our .NET runtime, because we were just using the runtime, we were not using the SDK. Okay, for this case, we actually will install the .NET runtime based on the documentation in the Microsoft. So we just scroll down, sorry, it's here, all the way down. We're using the Debian 11, so I will just go to 11. So I will just copy this entire command and paste it into the terminal. Something like this, press enter. Yeah, so we're actually getting this package not found. So this one, for my case, I actually encountered this issue when I using the instance from DigitalOcean, but you might not encounter this thing. Just in case if you encounter this thing, you actually can go to the troubleshooting sections provided by the Microsoft documentations. Then you actually can follow their command at here. We just copy line by line and paste into our terminal. So for this one, we actually have to change the OS version to 11. And then we just continue copy and paste the command again. Okay, then the last step we actually run it just now. So we can back to the previous sections and copy this runtime again. Paste it here. Then it should be installed without any problems right now. Yep, so let's clear the console first. Okay, let's verify whether we installed the runtime correctly. Yep, so from here you can see that we're actually installing the .NET runtime 6.0 versions at here. So yep, everything is working fine. So the next step, we actually have to go back to our local machine. For me, actually it's a WSL. I actually will have to go to my workspace right now. CS stands for C#. Okay. I will just create a new project for now, just for demo purpose. So test demo for this case. Okay. So right now I just have to run .NET. I have to go to this repository. This directory. Then we just have to run .NET publish -c release. Then all the file will be published into this directory. So we just actually have to copy this directory. We just put it aside first. Then we actually need to move all the files inside this directory to our instance. So in this case, I will be using FileZilla to move my projects. So from here, I actually need to connect to the instance right now. I actually have to copy the IP address again. Then I need to get the private key from my local machine. So in this case, I actually will just run explorer.exe to open this window. Then I will go to my root SSH so I can find my demo test here. So this is the key that I'm going to use. So I will copy this directory, put it here, /demo test. So yeah, everything is ready. Just in case, put place 22. Then we just connect. Always. Yep, so we actually connecting to our instance already. So for now, we actually have to create a new directory in our instance. So let's say directory is -p test in this case. Yep. Then we have to go back to here again. Explorer. We actually have to copy this path and put it to FileZilla. Then go to bin release.the.net 6.0 publish. So this is all the file that we're going to copy to the directory that we have created earlier. So for this case, we will be going to file www test. Then we just need to move all the file into this directory. Yeah, then it should be fine already. So okay, for now, we actually have to create a service files based on what have written in here. Let's go to the so we can see here we actually have to create a service file. So let's try to run touch. Let's create a file. Oh, sorry, it should be at here. Touch tc system and systemd system. Then with our service, I will call it test for now. .service. Then we can use our FileZilla to open the file path. Okay. So we can open this file and move it aside. So for this case, we just have to copy the file here and put it inside. Let's save it. Then we have to edit some information here. So example.net, we just rename it to Debian and rename this hello apps to test. Then this hello app, we actually have to see what's the value here. It's a test demo. So we just need to rename it as a test demo for now. Always. We just keep everything same here. We don't touch anything here. Let's save it. Update our changes. Then the next step we actually have to do is that we have to actually enable our service. So we have to run the system ctl enable test.service. Then this one actually will create a sync link, so which means working fine. Then we actually have to start our service. Then just to ensure that the service is running, we have to run status. Yeah, so you can see from here it's actually running correctly. So the next step that we actually have to do is that we have to set up our config. So right now we will be moving on to set our SSL, since like we're going to run this thing on the HTTPS protocol. Then we have to set up we have to install the SSL. So we'll go to the Nginx. Let's encrypt. We actually will get some result from the search engine. So based on the documentation mentioned in this Nginx, we actually just need to install the certbot for us to install the cert. So as usual, we will update the package first for now. Then we will install the certbot -y. For our use case, we actually were using the Python 3 certbot Nginx. So -y again. Yep. So for now, actually we have installed the certbot. So the next thing is that we actually have to apply this certification on our domain, not our IP address. This is why we actually have to set up our air record just now, because we have to install our certs, just to make sure that this domain is working correctly. Let's key in test.yong.syz. So you can see that it actually redirects us to the HTTPS. It's not working yet because right now we still don't install the cert. So for now, we actually have to do some configurations on our Nginx. But before that, we actually have to create, we have to go to the default config first. In this case, we will go to FileZilla again, etc Nginx site available. Then we have to open the default config. So for this case, we actually we just replace everything from here. We go to the Microsoft documentation again. We just copy all the config here, the config Nginx, paste it here. In our case, we will not be using the wildcard for this domain, so we will just name it as test.yong.syz, and this one we leave it as same. Then we update our config just to check whether the Nginx setting is fine. Yep, so it's successful. We have to reload the config. Okay, so right now what we will do next is that we actually have to install the cert to this test.yong.syz. So right now I had to do sudo certbot --nginx d domain test.syz to install the cert. So yeah, in this case I'm still going to provide some dummy data, the dummy email address. Yes. So it will take some time to verifications. Okay, so everything is ready here. So if we refresh, if we open our config again, we will see there are some changes that actually made by the certbot. So if you don't really care about this thing, we just leave it as it is. So based on the documentation from Microsoft, we actually have to create a proxy config before we can using it. So we need to scroll all the way down, secure the apps, then scroll all the way down. Then we actually have to copy this thing. Then we actually have to touch the file. We need to create a file, touch etc nginx proxy.config here. So we actually just open it from here, proxy, search for proxy. So we just paste the config here. We don't have to do anything, just leave it as it is, save it. Then the next step, we actually have to replace this entire Nginx file. So we just have to copy the file from here, just copy everything, replace it here. Then we actually have to add on one attribute. Should I say attribute or property? Let's just call it property for now. we have to add the events, otherwise it will be breaking. Then the next thing that we have to change is the certification key. So let's go back to our config. We can see that actually they provide a key for us. We just need to copy this line, then put it here. We just remove this support. And then we have to update our config. Yes. So next thing that we have to do is that we have to check whether this config is still working fine. Should be Nginx-T. Yep, it's successful. Then the next thing is we have to reload our configurations. Then we have to go back this place again just to refresh. Okay, since that is working, let's go to weather forecast. Yeah, so our API is already deployed to this instance. I hope you're enjoying this video. Please hit the like button if you think this video helps you. And if you prefer to read an article, you can go to my Medium post. I will attach the link below. And thank you very much.